Here we go again. We got another student, this time a 16-year-old DeMarie DeRue, could be expelled from Columbia Falls High School for having an unlocked rifle, unloaded hunting rifle, make that clear, locked in a case inside her car trunk. Your reaction?
Well, MSSA has gone to bat for her because it is entirely inappropriate how this is being handled. We have additional concerns that the Montana statute that authorizes this kind of disciplinary action is either broken or being badly misused. And so the good news is we have legislative session coming up in just about 3 weeks, and we'll go fix this statute that's either being misused or is broken.
But I'm sure the family right now, they're so concerned because next week she's got a hearing. The mother actually contacted you initially.
That's correct.
She must have been shocked.
She was, and so we went immediately to bat. You have seen what I released about it. Have stirred up a lot of interest in the case. We have an attorney for her, and we're getting a lot of news coverage. And frankly, I think the school board is going to be looking for a quick and easy way out of this.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, here you have a young girl. She's an honor student. She's a cheerleader. She's on the council. And she actually told school officials herself that she had this firearm in her trunk.
Right, and her reward for being honest and forthright is to be expelled from school. And we know that when a student nowadays fills out a college application, which she will be doing soon, they're required to explain in detail any expulsion from school. And can you imagine trying to explain to some gun-adverse college admissions committee why you were expelled for bringing a gun to school?
No, I know, and I've covered so many of these stories, and the parents are so concerned, first of all, about getting the student back in school, but also about the long-term impact. And you really got to wonder, what are these school officials thinking? You know, here you've got a student, a model student, and they're doing everything they can to ruin her future?
You know what they say, and I've talked to them, they say, our hands are tied. Our hands are tied by the state law. And then I point out to them that the state law says that they can make exceptions in a case-by-case basis. And they said, oh, well, in that case, our hands are tied by federal law, which is nonsense. It's just not true. But that's what the gun-adverse education industry attorneys are telling them.
Yeah, and I know, and that's what we hear from school administrators. Policy is policy. And you got to look at a case like that and say there are exceptions to the rules.
Right. So
you said you're getting strong reaction from the community. I'm sure parents look at this and say, that could be my child.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, I was interested. I called the local daily newspaper, is the Kalispell Daily Interlake, and I called the publisher 2 days ago, and I said, look, here's the deal. Here's what's going on. And he was shocked. He said, I can't believe they're doing that. And I said, yeah, and I'm going to ask people to send in 10,000 emails to the school board and the school administrators, and I want you folks in the loop. I want you to get copies of these, but I didn't want to be so impolite as to slam your email address without your permission. So give me an email address people can copy these to. And he said, that'd be great. I want to see them all. And so people have been sending copies to the local daily paper, and they've been accumulating this outrage, this expression of outrage.
Well, what's interesting is I had initially called the family, trying to reach the family, and I dialed the wrong number initially. And the woman who answered the phone, she knew exactly what I was talking about. She said, I just read this story. I'm horrified. And you know, she was just saying, how can this happen? And as you said, people say, how can it happen? But the tragedy is that it does.
Well, and I've had calls from about 20 Montana legislators saying, okay, what are we going to do about this? Mm-hmm. And so, I think the school board will get the message, and I hope the attorney will be able to negotiate basically down to a verbal warning and maybe even an apology for having drugged this girl through the knothole, and also expunging her record. Mm-hmm. And then we'll go to the legislature and fix the law that allows a tragedy like this to happen.
And that, too, the legal costs for these families that have had to have these situations. And again, you know, I think sometimes the school thinks, well, they won't have the money to do it, so, you know, they can't fight it. But thank God that you were able to put her in touch with an attorney that said, hey, we'll do it for you.
Right.
So the hearing is next week.
The last I heard, it was supposed to be Monday, although the story in the Interlake Daily newspaper today says Tuesday. So I'm trying to confirm just which day it will be. But we have a lot of activists up that area who want to be there for that hearing and who want to be outside on the streets with protest signs.
Mm-hmm. So she's out now.
Yes, she's out of school now.
And as I said, I tried to reach the family, and they didn't want to talk about it until this was all over. But let's hope that something gets settled and quickly on this, because, what is she going to have to be homeschooled unless something is done?
Yes, I think so. And the last, this high school did suspend another student, a boy, within the last year. Don't have the date nailed down. But one of the conditions was they would not allow him to make up the schoolwork that he missed, turn in any papers or take any tests or that kind of stuff. So as a result, he got bad grades and his GPA fell. Now, this is a girl who's on the honor roll. Mm-hmm. And can you imagine if she were not allowed to make up the work that she's missed, and she fell off the honor roll because of that, and then is trying to get into college?
Yeah, I mean, and it is a horror story. I mean, I covered a story in Florida, Samuel Burgess, and they told his parents, you have to send your kid to a special school, an at-risk school. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, well, there's nothing wrong with what my son, he's a great guy and a great student, and look what you're doing. Mm-hmm. So you're urging people to show up at the hearing.
Absolutely. In fact, an hour early out on the street where the hearing is held, and we did send an email out about the location for that. Again, this is the Columbia Falls High School in Columbia Falls, Montana.
You think it'll actually be solved next week, or you think it's going to be dragged out?
I think it will be concluded in one way or another next week. It may be that if there is not an outcome that's good for DeMarie, that I predict that there will be a lawsuit over it to overturn whatever the school board does. So we'll see.